China's strategic pivot to open source AI. In the global race for AI dominance, a fascinating strategic divergence has emerged. While major Western labs like OpenAI and Google build walled gardens around their proprietary models, China's leading tech firms are taking a radically different path. They are going all in on open source, releasing powerful, capable models for the world to download and use for free. This presentation unpacks the why behind this strategic pivot, exploring how China is using openness to overcome constraints and reshape the future of artificial intelligence. To understand China's strategy, we first need to look at the game board. Chinese firms are operating under a different set of rules. They are relative latecomers constrained by US export controls on the most advanced GPUs. Competing head-on with the high-compute closed model playbook of American giants is a losing battle. At the same time, platforms like ChatGPT and Gemini are blocked in China, creating a massive vacuum that domestic players must fill. Finally, this fits perfectly into China's industrial policy tradition, picking a critical technology stack and marshaling resources to dominate it. So, open source isn't an ideological choice, it's a strategic necessity to level the playing field. A core driver behind this strategy is technological sovereignty. Beijing wants to build a self-reliant AI ecosystem free from dependence on Western platforms and potential sanctions. It's about owning the underlying technology, not just paying for API access to a service that could be cut off. This isn't a secret, it's explicit policy. China's Global AI Governance Action Plan calls for open sharing of resources to lower innovation barriers. It also serves a soft power purpose, positioning China as a provider of inclusive, modifiable AI, a stark contrast to the closed, expensive models from the US. The goal is to own the recipe, not just be a customer at someone else's restaurant. The economic logic is compelling. First, the cost is dramatically lower. Models like Alibaba's Qwen and Moonshot's Kimi are priced far below their US equivalent, sometimes by as much as 75% for similar capabilities. Many are even open weight, meaning developers can download and run them locally for free. This drastically lowers the barrier to entry, enabling faster diffusion of AI throughout the real economy. Small businesses, local governments, and factories can now experiment and deploy AI solutions without massive upfront investment, which is crucial when the national goal is boosting industrial productivity, not just winning benchmark competitions. This leads to China's application-first strategy. The national emphasis isn't on creating a single all-knowing AGI, but on embedding practical AI into the bedrock of the economy: manufacturing, robotics, logistics, and financial services. Open models are the perfect tool for this. They make it cheap and easy to customize solutions for very specific vertical industries, like quality control on a factory floor or optimizing a supply chain without paying hefty licensing fees. The strategic bet is clear. Achieving widespread productivity gains across these core industries will do more for national competitiveness than simply owning the world's most advanced but inaccessible chatbot. The open source push is also a clever response to US chip controls. With limited access to the most advanced GPUs needed to train gigantic models, Chinese labs can't win a raw compute arms race. So they changed the game by releasing open-weight models. They effectively outsource a portion of their research and development to the global community. Every developer who downloads, fine-tunes, and finds a bug is contributing to the model's improvement. This shifts the competition from pure hardware power to efficiency and distribution. If you can't outcompute your rival, you find a way to outdistribute them. Open source is that distribution strategy. For companies like Alibaba, Baidu, and Tencent, open source is a classic platform strategy. The model itself is a loss leader designed to achieve a different commercial goal. For Alibaba, if their Kun model becomes the go-to for developers, those developers are far more likely to build their applications on Alibaba Cloud, driving revenue for their core business. It's also about capturing developer mindshare. By offering free, powerful tools, they aim to become the Android of AI, the default development stack for millions of programmers, especially in emerging markets. Once you're locked into their ecosystem, they can monetize through enterprise solutions, specialized tools, and cloud services. Beyond the corporate profits, this strategy has major geopolitical implications. Chinese open source AI provides a tangible alternative for governments and companies in the global south who are wary of being dependent on US tech giants like Microsoft and Google. It mitigates the risk of sanctions or political influence. By championing low-cost, customizable models, China is cultivating an image as an inclusive leader sharing technology to enable digital development worldwide. Many analysts are calling this China's Android moment, using a free and open platform to strategically embed its technical standards and influence across the global AI ecosystem, slowly eroding US proprietary dominance. Of course, this strategy isn't without its own complexities and tensions. Proponents, both in China and the West, argue that open models are actually safer because they allow for broader auditing and public scrutiny, reducing the risk of a single black box failure. However, the open source approach creates challenges. The fierce competition has led to paper-thin profit margins, forcing some firms toward hybrid models with paid enterprise features. There's also the question of regulation. As these models become more powerful, Beijing's own security and content rules may lead to more controls. Finally, the West is no longer naive. Policymakers increasingly see this not as altruism, but as a deliberate geoeconomic strategy, which could invite countermeasures. In conclusion, it's crucial to view China's open source AI push not as a simple licensing choice, but as a sophisticated geoeconomic strategy. It operates on two reinforcing feedback loops. The digital loop leverages the global developer community to rapidly iterate and improve models. The physical loop deploys these models across China's massive industrial base, its factories and logistics networks to generate proprietary real-world data that can't be scraped from the internet. This dual-engine approach creates a compounding advantage that is uniquely resilient to hardware constraints. The race is no longer just about who builds the smartest model, but who can best integrate AI into their real economy.